Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. My guest right now, of course, you know from the ever-popular show, Fear the Walking Dead. But to me, I know her from her role on Chuck.
Oh, Erik.
Cassandra.
Yes.
Hello,
Cat
Mercedes.
Squad.
Mason, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Right off the top of the bat, no accent. Everybody on that show has an accent because they're from like New Zealand and Australia. I think a couple are English.
Sweden, yeah.
And you're from Sweden, and I know.
Well, Minnie Ann was from Sweden as well. She is.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I know you moved, I guess, at a younger age, like around 12 or something like that, to the United States. But you didn't keep any of the accent. It's completely gone.
I worked really hard on it, actually. They put my sister and I into ESL, English Second Language, and they literally broke me of my accent. I had the thickest accent. If you make me mad enough, it sort of ekes back out.
The Swedish rage comes out?
Swedish rage, indeed.
Like that chick's part
I put
Viking.
together IKEA furniture with, gumption.
Did people make fun of you doing Swedish Chef?
What do you mean?
When you were a kid? When you came over to the United States being Swedish, were they doing the Swedish Chef mock accent that the Muppets do?
Yeah, I don't even think they understood that. Like at 13, they just want any reason to make fun of you. And so I didn't speak the language. I had a horrible accent. I mean, I could barely understand myself. And so that was the fun thing to pick on.
Well, not only do I applaud you for not really having the Swedish accent, but that you didn't pick up the Chicago accent when you moved over there, because that's even worse.
The hypernasal Chicago.
There's nothing sexy about most United States accents.
There's some, a little Southern drawl can be sexy.
Maybe if you're up here in the Northeast and you get some kind of Southern belle, cowgirl, wearing boots, and she's talking to you with that Southern drawl, like depending on the kindness of stranger, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
That's kind of sexy. But then when you get the heavy New York thing or the Chicago thing.
Boston.
The other day, I was staying at a hotel here in the city, and there were these 4 beyond middle-aged drunk ladies from Chicago. And I could maybe understand every 4th word that these 4 were mumbling to each other. And she goes, we're from Chicago, long story. And I'm like, I don't care. I really don't. I can't understand.
They were flirting with you. I love it.
They were just huddling by themselves in the corner of the elevator. It was weird. These 4 old broads. And they're just in this heavy Chicago accent. I was like, oh my God, this is driving me nuts. This must be what the heavy New York accent sounds like to everybody else. And, the Southern accent to other people. Anyway, it comes down to the fact that the accents in the United States aren't as sexy as foreign accents. So if you ran into a bar or somewhere and there's a girl with a Swedish accent, right away you're like, that is captivating. That is fascinating.
Cool. I should pick it back up then.
Right.
What was I thinking?
I don't know. But I would imagine the same would be. Do you go back to Sweden at all?
I'm hoping to go back this year again. It's been a couple years now. It's been a little bit. But
Does the American accent draw any kind of positive attention when you're over there?
I mean, the Swedes are so sweet, and so it's such a loving, they always want you to come out and party with them and hang out. So I don't know if it's necessarily the American accent, but any accent where you're not Swedish, they're like, yeah, welcome, come in,
unless
hang
it's
out.
Norwegian.
Then it's a little different.
There's one of the guys I work with, Roland, was over in Sweden for a while doing a TV show called Philip and Frederick, and he said his entire experience over there was 7-Elevens on every corner. And
oh no! Where was he, in Stockholm?
He might have been, yeah.
Oh, I need to go back.
Said 7-Eleven. That Sweden loves 7-Eleven, and they love the
Big Gulp, I guess.
the American accent. Because anywhere he would ask for directions or something like that, they would freak out that he wasn't one of them.
Oh, how sweet! Yeah, but again, I imagine if you had a French accent or a German, they'd probably do the same thing.
If it was German, you'd kind of get scared.
Yeah.
Something's going on here. They're gonna attack me. But Fear the Walking Dead here, everybody has an accent, and it's been a growing trend I've seen since The Wire that a lot of these amazing roles in these amazing shows are cast by people not in the United States, but they're playing characters that are American.
Yeah.
And when you see them on The Talking Dead with Chris Hardwick or just regular interviews, if they're on Jimmy Kimmel or The Tonight Show or something like that, and you're like, I had no idea that guy was British, and he's playing like a New York detective.
Right, exactly. But it's cool. I mean, to me at least, it's fun to see Hollywood stretch out a little bit more, and there are more ethnics being hired, and there is a little more diversity coming in, which I think is really exciting. And
it also makes me think that to fake being an American is much easier than an American trying to play somebody else in another part of the world.
Maybe, but I think outside of the States, at least for us, traditionally you get taught other languages, whether it's English, for example, or French somewhere else. So I think if you expose the brain to different language, I think it just makes it easier to pick up other accents. Whereas in America, traditionally, we speak English
You're
here.
specifically taught that no other languages really matter, except
right.
Spanish now.
Right, exactly.
Because sometimes you need to use the ATM, and it may be only in Spanish.
Sí, claro.
Yeah. Oh, look at you, multilingual. What other languages do you know?
Swedish. I was taught French in school, Spanish, and then I speak Farsi as well.
What is Farsi?
From Iran. I'm
Wow.
a multinational.
Where does that apply in your life?
Nowhere. Nowhere.
Cab drivers?
I mean, my best friend's Persian, so she and I will every once in a while. It's like our own personal.
I was just
Latin.
going to say, if you two are talking, like, oh, they have their own secret language.
Yeah,
like twins.
exactly. Yeah.
Like, no, that's an authentic dialect that they're doing.
Exactly.
So, wow. Was this, you just had to be taught this in school, or did you have an interest in languages?
No, I definitely have an interest in languages, but growing up when I came, my best friend is Iranian, and so my parents, being immigrants in the country, they worked most of the time, so I ended up sort of being raised at our house. So I picked up the language, and then, it became like I said, like our Pig Latin. She taught me, and I picked it up fairly quickly. I don't know why, but I don't read or write it. Obviously, it's a whole different alphabet, but I can speak it pretty fluently.
That's interesting that you picked it up off your friend's house, because a lot of people who told me that they learned English or the American accent was because they watched American shows in their native country.
Right.
But people in the United States, when they're picking up a language from family and friends, it's because they're in the house, and it's always profanity. Looks like they learn all these words,
starts,
and they're like, what are these people saying in that house? You come out, it's like, I learned Spanish, and then they translate it and like, oh my God, don't say that.
Don't say it.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the fascination initially, is like learn all the horrible things you can say, and then, okay, maybe I actually need to learn how to ask for the bathroom.
Was it, I imagine when you learn a language and can understand other people speaking that language, it becomes this amazing form of clarity. It's like, oh my God, it translates. I understand what's going on now. Your friend being Iranian, when you start hearing them talk and you're now understanding it, was it like, oh my God, I know what's going on here?
It's a full epiphany. I mean, it's, and they say the old adage is if you can dream in another language, that's when your brain sort of subconsciously has told you that you've picked the language up.
Right.
And so the day I distinctly remember I had a dream where my friend, she was in my dream and she spoke Farsi to me and I understood it fluently, completely. Mm-hmm. And I was so excited, and I came and I told her in Farsi, and she's like, idiot, you're speaking Farsi to me right now. Obviously, you've gotten the language now. You're good. You're good. You don't need to tell me about your dream.
Judging you.
Yeah.
My friend.
That's what we do. We love each other.
My dummy friend.
We got to give each other heat. Yeah.
I've known you how many years?
Yeah, exactly.
It would be fun if you guys, just as a goof or maybe like a bonus clip, if you did a scene for Fear the Walking Dead and everyone spoke in their native dialect or languages,
amazing.
And just don't translate it.
Yeah.
So it's like
some weird dream sequence.
You're speaking Swedish. Some other people are speaking with their heavy New Zealand accents.
Yeah.
The whole scene's going on, and this guy's speaking Spanish, and like I don't know. Look, it's hard enough to follow as it is right now. I don't know what they're talking about. Be a nice bonus scene.
It would be a good little behind the scenes of us just cracking up. I mean, I don't know if we'd all be
Easter
sober.
Egg, slide it into an official episode, just like a quick thing.
An Easter egg?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You know what an Easter egg is? It's when they specifically put little things in the into a television show or a movie that relate to something else. Like in the background, maybe a poster means something, or the superhero shows. Sometimes you see some things in the background and go, oh my God, that ties into a character in another series.
Yeah, they do that in Disney, I heard a lot.
Disney has hidden things in their animation. Right. But if you watch any of the Marvel movies,
Kubrick used to do it with, like, somebody told me at least, when he goes, for example, into the freezer or whatever, they keep the food. I guess all the cans meant something. Have you heard this?
I don't remember the definition of it, but
that's
I remember.
Called an Easter egg?
It's an Easter egg. Like the Marvel movies. Do you watch any of the superhero stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
In the early ones, you'd see there was something like in the background you'd be like, oh, that's Captain America's shield. And it would be it would be on the workbench off to the side. They don't focus on it.
Yeah. So you have to have a keen eye to pick it up. That's
right.
So cool.
There was I had somebody in recently. I think it was Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah.
She was in for the Fifth Wave, and one of the scenes was she's in a room and it has a poster of the movie Big Fish in the back, and
That's
the guy
amazing.
who either produced or directed the Fifth Wave had a hand in the Big Fish there.
Yeah.
So I saw the poster and I kept asking. She goes, everyone asks me about that poster. in that room? And I said, yeah, does it tie into anything? She had no idea. But then looking through, it's like, oh, they had a connection. So they'll throw some of their own stuff in there. Some of it is just for them. Some of it is hoping the audience does catch it.
That's so cool.
So by doing an Easter egg, you're throwing stuff in there that, unless you're really paying attention, or people go online like, I don't know what that meant. I'm going to Google and see if other people caught onto that. Just do a quick scene, like something in action, and you're all speaking in your native languages, and like she's yelling in Spanish, and she's being eaten. That'd
be cool. No, I got to start looking for that. I never paid attention. I didn't even know that was what it was called, an Easter egg.
Well, we learned something here
We
today.
did indeed.
Let's learn some more about Fear the Walking Dead. We're in season 2. For those who don't know, it's the prequel to The Walking Dead.
Companion show, because we'll catch up time-wise at some point.
It is supposed to catch up? Okay, because I didn't think it was, because I thought it was so offset from the original series that this was everything is a first here. Like, when you're watching the show, some people are like, why don't they know that they're going to turn? Or why aren't they doing this? Why don't they just kill her right now? This is all just happening for the first time to these characters. And if you're not, like, if it was happening to you in real life, you wouldn't know off the top of your head of how to handle this stuff, because this is brand new. So that's what Fear the Walking Dead is. It's showing in a different part of the world, unrelated to the characters that you know in Georgia, that this is what happened on the West Coast when the virus started to break out.
First started breaking. Right, because when we see The Walking Dead, we see Rick in a coma. And so we start, I think it's 3 weeks
he's already late to the party.
Exactly, exactly. So by the time he wakes up, they've gotten a good month at least in where they know exactly that you have to do headshots and you have to, take the zombies out a certain way. Whereas we are still concerned about, is this just a passing phase? Are we going to figure out a cure? Can I kill my neighbor who I had coffee with yesterday by smashing his skull? Now we know.
Look, here's a spoiler. If you haven't seen season 1, there was a riot that broke out.
A
lot of stuff going on. Just people getting killed, some warranted, some needlessly. Property being destroyed. If you didn't like the person, I really don't think anyone's going to fault you that, I thought it was a zombie. Sorry, walker. They don't say zombie in there.
Or the infected, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now it's the infected. They're not walkers yet because they haven't dubbed that term.
Yeah.
You're Ofelia in the show. Tell us where we're joining Ofelia in season 2 from where we left off with season 1.
So at the end of season 1, Ophelia's in a really bad place. She's been shot by the guy that she thought, was potentially going to be a love interest.
Right. Her mom died.
Her mom's dead. Her father.
Which, by the way, her mom, not a walker or infected related death. Like the scenario was caused by it, but her death was not.
Right,
being
Liza,
bitten. Right.
Liza killed her but they had figured out at that point that the infection will turn anybody. You don't necessarily have to be bitten.
Right.
So she was on the deathbed.
But I just think it's kind of cool and important to point out that when you watch a show like this, you're watching for the death scenes of how they get infected. This is saying, no, you're infected whether you did anything or not. But her death was not directly related to somebody infected killing her.
Right, or a bite or anything.
Yeah, she had some scaffolding fall on her.
It was an infection. It was a blood infection.
It was a horrible way to go. She had her foot amputated, and then I think she had an intestine rupture. She had septic shock, and her brain was swelling, and then it was just like
and then use a cattle prod on her. I mean, my God.
And then you had to put her down. That was like the most humane way to do it.
Poor mama.
I know. So yeah, Ophelia's having a rough time.
Ophelia's having really rough. And then on top of that, her father has now sort of confessed that he was in fact a torturer during the El Salvadorian War. So to her, he's an absolute monster. So we see Ofelia season 2, and she doesn't know who to trust. She's injured horribly.
Right.
If she doesn't get antibiotics, she could die herself. And she's trying to figure out in this new group that she's forced into who's a friend and who's a foe. So she's sort of sitting on the precipice on the outside, trying to figure out, being an observer, who she can trust.
Do you like the yacht?
I like it. I think it's different. I mean, I think the cool thing is we get to see from a fan point of view, because I am a huge fan of The Walking Dead. I wanted to know what it was like, because that was all of our reaction initially. Get on a boat, you'll be fine.
Right.
And now we find out, in fact, you can't get on a boat because it's just as dangerous. And in fact, there's more humans who want to take that boat from you.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool to see that aspect.
When you're not shooting, do you guys just hang out on the boat?
No, not on the boat. No, because the boat is on the horizon tank. It's anchored so that they can obviously use it and maneuver it as they will. And I think it would. I don't know what we would do on there. Maybe we'll have a wrap party on there, though.
Yeah,
season 2.
Go out and have a huge party. Skim the coastline where you have this huge, obnoxiously big boat, and you're just blaring music, have zombies dancing and all that stuff. I'm like, what the hell is going on? It's great to have money,
Life is good.
How has your life changed since getting this role here?
It's been amazing. I mean, in the sense career-wise, there's a lot more recognition. I'm able to do great shows like this, So for me, it's definitely fun to be recognized for your work. Obviously, as an actor, you want the more recognition, the more jobs open up. So that's really exciting. And on top of it, to be a part of a show that you yourself watch is so rare and so much fun. Like, it's exciting going to work. I want to know what's going to happen to our characters.
Right.
So I'm on cloud nine. I couldn't be
Well, what
happier.
about the public? Have you seen much recognition with that?
Via social media now. That's the cool thing.
Like, do you go into the grocery store and people recognize you? Or do you have, like, paparazzi, shooting you as you're coming out of the gym or just getting gas at the gas station or something like that?
I haven't gotten to that point. I've gotten a couple paparazzi shots in airports. I think maybe they just kind of hang around there. I don't know how they know who's going to be there, so I've been popped there a few times. But I've gotten I think I'm at that point where people kind of maybe recognize me. So I'll get the few people who do, and they're great and lovely. And then I'll get the others who stop me in the grocery store, let's say, and they're like, I know you. Did we go to school together? I'm like, no. Well, how do I know you? I'm an actor.
Is it awkward when you have to explain your role and then they ask you for a photo?
No, but then the best one is, so what have I seen you in? Which is the worst question. Don't ask people that because then
here's
you feel
my
like you have
IMDb.
to.
I printed
here's
out
my
just
resume.
to have on file here, so I just hand it to them. It's laminated.
Yeah, exactly. So, I say, well, I'm on Fear right now, and then they're like, no, you're not. Who do you play? I play Ofelia Salazar, and then they look right into my soul, in my eyes, and they go, no, you're not. And I'm like, but I am. For some reason, I don't know. I keep getting that I don't look the same in person that I do on screen. Or at least that's sort of the feedback I've been getting. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. And this isn't meant in a bad way whatsoever, but your character does come off more Hispanic than you do in real life here.
I don't know what it is.
Good makeup. Emmy Award-winning makeup and costume
We don't even wear
change.
that much makeup. That's the craziest thing.
Well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Bronzer, maybe. I don't know how you guys are pulling that off. Did you go to Comic-Con when before the show started in San Diego?
I did.
You were there too?
Yeah.
Did you see the big display they had across the street from the actual convention where they had Fear the Walking Dead, the big Los Angeles exit signs and everything right there? People,
Fear begins here.
Right.
Yeah.
So people saw that on the first day, the preview night on Wednesday. And then Thursday they saw it there too. But there was these stairs and the big traffic signs, highway signs above it, but they were fenced off.
Yeah.
And everyone kept going by, they must just be a display, promotional thing. And then at one point, people walking by and they didn't know the gates are open and they don't announce anything. All of a sudden, people are just standing there on the stairs taking photos. And then all of a sudden, the zombies come down, the walkers come down.
That's
people start screaming because they didn't tell anybody.
That's amazing.
And
I didn't know
and
that.
I wouldn't have known that either had I not walked past it. I was going past. I was coming from the Hard Rock, which was right next to it.
Yeah.
And they have the train, the light rail, the tracks right there. So it's right in that section. And people just start screaming and running. I'm like, oh, it must be like the stage show. And it's fans because they were taking photos. And then they just let the walkers come down the stairs without the people knowing.
That's awesome.
I thought that was ingenious.
I'm annoyed they didn't publicize that somehow, or at least like videotape it.
If they did, a lot of people, and myself included, were not aware of it. I just happened to be walking past at the same time when people were there taking photos, and they let the walkers go, and people started screaming, and oh my God, and
But we're on the show. They didn't tell us.
Well, even better.
That would have been so cool to watch, though. Can you imagine? That'd be like a little leaked video behind Comic-Con scenes.
Oh, that would have been good if they had you and a couple of people on this, like you and
Ruben
Kim and Alicia on the
Alicia,
stairs there.
Yeah.
You're just taking photos, and they don't tell you, and these guys come up, and you guys are screaming like crazy, and like that's not a believable character. I can't follow this show. But so you're at Comic-Con. Were you amazed about the buzz for it when nobody really knew anything about it? Because that's where they released the first trailer.
Yeah, nobody had seen it, and yet Hall H, which is the biggest hall, was filled to the brim. It was absolutely amazing to see. It's one thing, when the show's aired, people know about it. If you're a fan, you show up. That's amazing. When it hasn't even aired, and I don't even know if we had anything more than a trailer out at that point. And for them to be so supportive we were so taken aback by it. Really pleased.
I think if people are excited and recognizing you somewhat, not fully for your character, because they're not fully sure that you're playing that character in public. Right. I think after season 2, they're going to be like, okay, that's definitely her. Like, I've been on the show 5 seasons and no one believes that I'm on that show.
I need to just start wearing bronzer, I guess. I don't know what's going on. I don't even wear bronzer on the show. That's the craziest thing.
Your parents are watching the show. It's like,
I know,
even
they're
I
like,
don't believe
yeah.
that doesn't
Mom,
look like
I'm on
you.
the show.
Tell me, are you on drugs? What are you really doing for a living here?
Where are you making this money, Mercedes?
Exactly.
Seriously.
Do we need to have an intervention? The public had a hard time at first because they were very excited about it, and then they got very confused because once they realized that it's not Walking Dead, there's no crossover, you're not going to see Daryl on a motorcycle in the background while you guys are dealing with something in Los Angeles, they're like, okay, it's the happenings before Walking Dead, and then everyone's like, well, I'm not connecting with the characters, the story's moving so slow. I'm kind of liking the fact that you don't really, and it was the best way to do it, where you're not fully involved with the characters off the bat, even through the majority of the first season. You're more enthralled with the happenings that are going on, the actual changes of people, starting to realize that even though they weren't bitten or scratched or whatever, everyone has this disease. So whether you were attacked or not and you die, you're going to make that change. The changeover of the gray eyes or the bluish gray eyes, which you didn't see in The Walking Dead, because when people die in The Walking Dead, it's the full changeover.
Already,
Here is the virus is just starting to get its legs, so it's not happening as fast as you're used to.
Slow progression.
Right. But to see the hair color change, the skin getting pale, the blue eyes, and they're not quite there yet, that I thought was amazing. And it was surprising that a lot of people weren't getting that.
I think, honestly, from our perspective, I think a lot of people were afraid that we were going to take over the other show. I think that was the biggest fear. And so I think there was a lot of backlash initially because of that. And once they realized that we're a companion show, that we're not taking anything over, I think the really diehard fans, at least what we've sort of perceived over time now, is that they like seeing other aspects. They like seeing the beginning. They like seeing how the walkers changed slowly into the monsters they become.
I thought that was the best, especially.
Of course. Agreed.
I'm forgetting his character's name. Was it Chris, the one who had the drug problem?
Nick.
Nick, sorry.
Yeah.
So Nick was sort of already walkerish because he was so intoxicated with the drugs. And he saw, I guess, with the series, he was the first one to witness the changeover and all that stuff. But he was already there without having the full changeover, just because he was medicated so heavily with heroin or whatever he was taking. And to see that, like, this is where it starts. This is where you are with the drugs. And then here's how everything comes together. I thought that was the best part of season one. And like I said, the changeover with watching how the people were slowly changing over, and people, the regular characters, I don't get this. I don't understand what's going on. It's not about these characters yet.
Exactly.
It's about this situation. Then we get to the characters. Where season two starts, where you're on the boat with Victor Strand, who we talked to Coleman not too long ago. By the way, did you see him on Lucifer?
Yeah,
as Father Frank.
Yep.
Amazing, right?
Yeah, with the piano playing, he's fantastic.
Yeah, him and Lucifer just playing "Knocking on Heaven's Door," so tongue in cheek. I had I'm like, you did a great job. He's like, I don't know how to play piano. I was like, does Tom Wells know how to play? He's like, we don't know how to play piano. They faked the whole thing. I was like, good job.
Yeah.
But now you're concerned about the characters and their well-being and what's going on, because you're on the boat.
Secrets will start getting leaked out about each character, the backgrounds and things like that.
Well, it's already starting with where we're at right now with Victor, because they discovered the maps and he's going to Mexico.
Yeah.
And you don't really know what the whole reason for him to go to Mexico, because he wanted
talking to.
Because he wanted to go to San Diego first.
Yeah.
And that just seemed like a haven. You guys find out that San Diego is destroyed. The whole western seaboard is destroyed, even going into the mountain areas.
Yeah.
So now you're going down to Mexico because they sealed off the borders there.
But also because Strand is in control of the Abigail, the boat, and he's telling us that's where we're going. That's why I keep telling Madison, get these people on board so that we stop fighting it.
Right.
And she is choosing to trust him against better odds because she has no other choice.
Yeah.
So we're kind of forced, our hands forced, and we're, going along for the ride, because what's the alternative? What else? What other options do we have?
One other thing with this show, and especially in season 2, that I found amusing, and I don't know what this says about myself as a person, but I'm really enjoying the fact that some people have already lost their humanity and have adapted to the fact that we're in the apocalypse. How we lived as a society and as people doesn't apply anymore.
Yeah.
Stop being a humanitarian. Stop trying to help. Like Kim Dickens' character and her husband, Travis.
Travis,
right?
yeah.
They drive me crazy because they're still trying to be good people. They're still trying to help their daughter, where she's like, oh, they're on the lifeboats. We don't know if they're infected. We can't take them. I'm like, yes, of course. Just throw them like a care package or something there and push them away, But
think about it. You're a watcher of The Walking Dead, right? So you actually know more than the characters do. That's the beauty of it.
Fair,
they're still
fair, but I still think I would be like that too. I don't think that makes me a good person.
Right now, if the apocalypse broke out right now, right? And your producer is down the hallway, who you had coffee with yesterday morning or had lunch with today. all of a sudden he's acting weird. Is your first instinct to kill him? Of course not. So
Maybe.
we're still at
You don't know the entertainment industry because that means it's another spot open for me.
I mean,
unless
I think
unless
it's
below where I need to be, then yeah I'll let him live.
I think the cool thing is seeing humanity slowly crumble. Because if we all suddenly turn to bad or immediately assume we can kill people, I mean, it's sort of one note, right? I like the idea of having these other people fight against it.
But you're a little further along in the story where you, even if you're not just the watcher and know more than the characters, as a character, you understand where Victor's coming from. It's like, we can't do this. It's enough that I brought you people on my boat when I wasn't planned for that.
But why did he bring us on board?
I know.
Right.
Human trafficking. Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows what's going on? Maybe you're guinea pigs. Maybe you go down there, they have some kind of antidote that they've been working on because they're not under, the United States restrictions or whatever, and they're just using humans as guinea pigs to try to cure this thing. They knew ahead of time that this thing was coming or it existed and they were working on it down there. Or, it could turn into Dawn Till Dusk.
Or it could be some sort of crazy cult, or it could be, there's a million
lot of weird shit happens
things.
in Mexico.
Oh, yes.
Where do you want to see this go? I mean, I know a lot of this is already written, but where would you like to see this go? Where would you like to see your character go?
I definitely want Ofelia personally to start showing her strength. I know she's sort of been the mouse thus far. She was sort of under her father's thumb, season 1, the good girl. And I think,
how much bad shit has to happen in her life for her in order to stand up for herself?
Or she's just being quiet.
Ooh,
as a kid
smart.
Think about it. As a kid of immigrant parents, and I am one myself, I definitely led a double life. There's a million things my parents don't know that I did growing up. And I think Ofelia will start realizing she sort of had the same. And now, when you have your parents to answer to and you feel like you have to be a good daughter, that sort of changes your behavior. When you don't have your mother anymore, you don't trust your father, it's almost like a burden lifted. And you can go off and be as crazy as you want to be. And I think Ofelia is definitely headed that way.
Okay.
I can't wait to see it.
Last thing before we have to go here, in a matter of no time, they're going to have merchandise for Fear of the Walking Dead.
Right.
They'll have shirts, they'll have glasses.
It's out already. There's a few things out, yeah.
Right, there's a few things, but I'm saying the big full-scale rollout like they do with Walking Dead. Eventually, they're going to make action figures, like those Funko Pop things or the NECA figures or things like that. What are you going to do when that day comes and they say, hey, we're going to make an Ofelia figure?
I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I really, really want to see it. I think if nothing else, it'll be the first time my parents will go, oh, so this is actually career. You're not going to go back to med school. Wonderful. So maybe at that point, my parents will respect what I do.
Right.
And have some respect for their kid. But no, for me, it's super exciting. And, someday when I have kids down the road, how exciting, this is what mommy did. And you have a doll now that you can play with. I think it's so cool.
How to get your parents' respect. One, have your face on a T-shirt or an action figure. And then 2, you buy them a house in Florida or California for them to retire.
Exactly.
And then that's all right, I've lived my purpose on this planet here. My parents are fine. Whenever you have kids, they're not going to care what you do, no matter how famous you are. So there's no winning.
You got to have an action figure for them to play with.
Yeah, they're not even going to care about that. They're gonna just oh no, I like the Victor. I like the Victor
Power
figure.
Rangers.
Yeah. Like that. So you can't win with the kids. You can only win the parents. But I can't
buy them a house, so I need an action figure.
Not yet. Got to be positive with this. Don't be pessimistic. Who knows where this goes.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. Knock on wood. Yes, I always say to a lot of people, I know you make millions of dollars and you can win Oscars and Emmys and things like that. But as just a regular person, I think the scale of success is my face is on a T-shirt. I have a figure. If I had a figure, I say this all the time, that's everyone's Christmas present this year. I sign the box and go, and that's what you're getting. You're just getting the gift of me.
Merry Christmas.
There you are.
I love it.
Well, we're out of time. There's so much other things I wanted to talk to you about, but next time you're around, it's a half season, right? We're doing half seasons?
Doing, so 7 episodes and we come back for the rest of it.
Okay, so if you're around for the next half of the season there, if you're in New York City, please come by.
For sure.
It's Mercedes Mason on Twitter, but it's the Mercedes Mason on Instagram.
Someone stole my name?
Is it really their name? Because if it's not, you can take it from them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You have an agent?
Yeah.
Have them work on it. If it's the person's real name, you can't take it.
Sure.
But if they're just doing the name because they're taking it of a celebrity or whatever like that, you can go and claim the name because it's your name.
Oh, cool. Okay, I'll look
and then
that.
Follow me.
I will.
And maybe like a photo or two. And then I can brag.
I love it.
Fear the Walking Dead is Sundays on AMC. It's 9 p.m., right?
9 p.m.
9 p.m. right there. Check it out. Mercedes Plays Ofelia. Thank you so much for coming in. I had a great time with you.
Me too.
And when you
You're
come back,
so much fun.
I want to talk more about Chuck.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Take care.
Thank you.